Hi everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how I upgrade my Razer Blade 15 laptop. It's a 2021 model and it came with 512 gig storage SSD and 16 gig RAM. And I feel that it's not enough anymore for the works that I do. I've been working a lot in Premiere Pro now, and also I've been working on Illustrator, and 16 gig is not enough. Okay, so what do we need in order to perform an upgrade on a Razer Blade 15? Actually, this process will work on most of the laptops, especially if you are replacing the existing drive or disk and you don't want to lose any data, including the operating system settings or the operating system itself. So for this, I used the Vim agent for Microsoft Windows. It's a free software, but if you are using it in a corporate setting or in a server, that's the time that you need to have it licensed. Okay, another thing you need is an external hard drive, because basically what we are going to do is to back up the entire computer and save it somewhere outside of the computer. So let me just get my... Okay, so in this case, I use this 1 terabyte external hard drive. The size of the hard drive that you need must be enough in order to store the full backup file of your computer. So in my case, my Razer Blade came with 512 gig SSD, so that's why I use this 1 terabyte external hard drive. Another thing that you need is this, a USB stick. So USB stick for your recovery media. I'm gonna talk more about recovery media later in this video. It's actually the main component of this process. Then of course your replacement SSD, make sure that it's the same PCI slot of your existing hard drive. In this case, for Razer Blade 15 2021 model, it's PCIe 4.0. So it has to be an NVMe solid state drive. Those are the smaller versions of SSDs. And of course, you're gonna need the replacement RAM. Okay, so I bought a 2x 32 gig kit, equivalent to 64 gig RAM. One thing that you need to note is if your existing system only supports DDR4, it will only support DDR4, not DDR5 or DDR3. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. You will also need in my case, a Torx bit to open up the base covering of the laptop in order to have access to the RAM slots and the SSD slot and VME slots. Without further ado, let's start creating the recovery media. I do have the Vim agent for Microsoft Windows installed already, but if you don't still have it, click on the download link on the descriptions below and go install it. It's easy to install, it's not rocket science. Okay, as of recording of this video, the latest version is 6.1.0.349. To create the recovery media, go to your start menu and search for create media recovery. This is part of the whole Vim agent for Microsoft Windows installation. From the recovery media creation wizard, you're gonna see on the list of recovery media your USB stick. So this is the one that is designated for just the recovery media. Usually you're gonna need a 16 gig or 8 gig USB stick. I think that would be enough. And on this list, you have to select that. In my case, it's this one. So that's the 14.6 gig USB that I have already connected into the computer. I'm not sure why it's displaying E or F, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Below that, you're gonna have some options. According to Veeam, it is always recommended that you include the network connection settings and the hardware drivers. That will ensure a smooth recovery later on. And for me, I also tick this one, so it includes decryption key for seamless restore from encrypted backup. Okay. Now if you have some additional storage or network hardware drivers, you can add them here, but in my case I don't have them. Okay, now just click next, and it will say the USB stick or the USB disk will be formatted to create the recovery media. Just click yes on that and create. Okay, so that's all. Just let it finish, and once it's done, set aside the USB stick for later in the process. Once you've created the recovery media USB stick, you can now then proceed creating the backup job and the backup file itself. Click on the system tray and open the Veeam system tray icon. Go to control panel and it will open the Veeam agent control panel window. On the top left of the window, click on the three stripes and select add new job. A new backup job creation wizard will appear. On the name, you can actually type whatever you want, doesn't really matter. Click next. Backup mode, select entire computer. So basically it will back up the entire computer, including the OS and the data. Click next. Destination, set it to local storage. It will allow you to select the external hard drive or the USB stick that will hold the backup data for you. Select next. In the local storage list, select the external hard drive. In this case, it's my Seagate external hard drive. Click next. On the schedule, you don't really need a schedule for this because we will only be running this once. But if you want to continue using Veeam backup, then go ahead and create a schedule for yourself. And then apply. You will see the summary of the backup job that you just created. Now there's a checkbox on the bottom that says run the job. When I click finish, just click on that, and once you click finish, it will create the entire computer backup. Here's what it will look like on the external hard drive. So it will create a folder called Veeam backup, and inside that is the actual backup files. Now once the backup job is finished, just shut down your computer completely, remove the power supply, and proceed with opening up the internals. So if you don't know how to do it, you can watch my video on cleaning up the Razer Blade 15. It's so easy to do. There's only one cover that you need to remove, and it will give you access to the PCI slots and the RAM slots. Once you have it open, replace the RAM and SSD. Once you have the SSD replaced and the RAM replaced as well, you can now then proceed to boot from the recovery media USB stick. We are now here into the recovery media environment. In order to do this, just plug in your USB stick into your laptop. That's after replacing the disk or the solid state drive. Now normally it will boot into the USB automatically because the new SSD is empty. Okay, but if not, you can always go to the BIOS menu and select the boot order, or sometimes you just need to press certain F key in order to boot into USB. It will vary on different systems, so just do some research, Google it, and you'll be able to find it. So what we need to do here is to perform a bare metal recovery. Now if you click on that, it will then show this window. So it's a volume level restore. So they call it like that, but it's actually full computer restore. Local storage, this is the backup file that will be put into the system. Ignore these details because I've taken this backup job a long time ago. So it says 72 days. Now, if that doesn't show, click on browse and browse to your external hard drive where you stored the backup file. Okay, now once you have that selected, it will actually look for the .vbm file, and that's the one it will use in order to restore your OS and data into the new disk or SSD. Click next. It will select the actual backup job as a restore point. If you have multiple restore point, please always select the most recent restore point, unless you have to select a specific restore point that is older than your recent backup job. Okay, now here's the restore mode. Select entire computer, because that's what we are doing here. We need to restore the whole computer into the new SSD. Click on next. Okay, ignore this error because I'm running this recovery media from a virtual machine, because I can't record it properly if I run it on my actual laptop. But once you click next, it will then show you the summary and then the progress of the restoration. And that's all. So once you have the restoration process done, when it's finished, no errors, you can now then proceed to shut down your laptop, boot it up again, and log in. So you will not notice anything, like there's just gonna be no difference. You will have your files, you will have your applications, they are installed. There may be some things that may need to be reinstalled, but in my experience, I haven't had that really major issue. I haven't experienced any major issue when doing this kind of upgrades. Now the only thing you need to do is to check the disk partitions. So if you go to your disk management within Windows, you're gonna see the additional storage space that is added to the computer. So what you need to do is just extend it. Right click to that unused partition and click make partition active. Sometimes it will automatically be activated, but if not, then you have to do it manually. Okay, so that's all for this video. If you have any question, hit up the comment section below and I will do my best to answer your questions. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.